Hey everyone, it's Corey here, and welcome to my kitchen. So, for the past 18 months or so, I've had multiple people request the recipes that I had used at my wedding reception. And I'm not going to lie, I have been putting it off. I figured once I got into the new house and once I got into the new kitchen, I would work on something. I wasn't real for sure what, but work on something and work on getting y'all those recipes that you've asked for. Well, I'm here. I'm in the new house. I'm in the new kitchen, and I decided that a video would probably be the best way to go forwards with this because it would show you not just the science as far as the ingredients, but the actual art and the technique so that y'all can replicate the recipes that y'all have been asking about. Today, we're going to be doing 4 ingredient mini cheesecakes. They're the simplest thing ever. In fact, they're so simple they will ruin you in regards to the fact that you will never want to buy a store-bought cheesecake again or even a bakery bought cheesecake again. They are it's a great recipe. It really is, and all of you who've had it, y'all know this. So one thing I do want to note, I cut the recipe in half for today's tutorial, if you want to call it that. The full recipe will actually be in the description on the video, or I may pop it up on the screen. But the recipe that you see me make today is the same recipe. It's just cut in half. So what we're going to end up with is cream cheese. We're going to have egg and some vanilla, which is in here with the egg, and just white granulated sugar. We're going to mix all of these up into a bowl. You do want to make sure your cream cheese is basically at room temperature. You can also mix this by hand, like with a spoon by hand. I'm choosing to use a little hand mixer here and a bowl. I find that's just easier to get the sugar dissolved correctly. So we'll go ahead and pop all this into the bowl. Here, move this out of my way and into the sink. And then now, since all this is in the bowl, all we're simply going to do is to mix this, and it doesn't need to be mixed super high speed. I mix it on basically like a #1 level, so pretty low. And you're going to mix it only for a couple of minutes. Just mix it until it becomes smooth and the sugar has dissolved. Let's get to mixing. All right, there we go. I move this out of the way. If you look at the texture once it's all blended, it's going to be a little bit, it's going to be somewhere in between the texture or consistency of icing and the consistency of, say, cake batter. And if you happen to try it, which you probably should do, it's going to be, you're not going to taste any granulated sugar in it. It should be smooth. Now, to make your life easy, you can use these pre-made little graham cracker tins. They are my preference because it's just easy. If you want to make your own pie crust or shell, you're more than welcome to. There's lots of different ways to do that, but that is not what I had at the wedding or at the reception, excuse me, and that is not what I'm doing today. Let me grab a spoon real quick. Basically, all you're going to want to do is just spoon this out of here. Try to get it somewhat consistent between the pie crust. As I said, normally this recipe would make 12. I did divide it in half for today, but Just nevertheless, when you're doing it, just make it consistent between the 12 pie crusts that you have, and it will be fine. All right. So these shells are all filled. You're going to want to spread them out a little bit, just so there's not a mound of cheesecake filling. They will spread some in the oven as they bake, so it's not necessary to get them perfectly flat, but you do want them spread out a little bit. I'm going to put these in the oven at 350 degrees in a preheated oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. They're going to bake for about 15 minutes. In my experience with this oven, it takes a little bit longer, but everybody's oven's going to be a little bit different. What you're looking for while they're baking is you want to make sure they don't have that shake to them. So if you open up the oven and you shake the pan a little bit, there shouldn't be any movement or pudding or jello type movement to the surface of the actual cheesecakes themselves. And as soon as they firm up and get hard, you can go ahead and pull them out of the oven. And like I said, the original recipe called for 15 minutes. This oven's a little bit longer, but I'm sure certain ovens are probably a little bit less. Start checking at about 13 minutes and then check basically every minute after that. Let's put them in the oven. All right, so I went ahead and pulled these out of the oven. In my oven, they took about 18 minutes. Like I said, every oven's a little different. The original recipe and what I will post will show 15 minutes. Just watch them. One of my little guys here, they did split on me. Not a big deal. Just put some topping on that, and everything will be fine. So what you're going to want to do from here is go ahead and get them onto a cooler surface. If you have a cooling rack, fantastic. If you don't have a cooling rack, I'm going to put them on top of my stove because the top of my stove is at least room temperature. It's cooler than this pan. Let them sit there for a little bit, cool down a little bit, put them in the fridge. It's going to be about probably 2 hours in the fridge for them to really set up and become good. The flavors to meld together to get that and to get the warmth out of the actual cheesecakes themselves. So just give it a couple of hours and they will be ready to go and you can enjoy your cheesecake. All right, so here we go. Cheesecakes have had time to cool down. I'm gonna do it today with some cherries. Originally when I did this at my reception, the cherries were on top of it because I wanted everything that could be easily kind of like picked up and carried around since I was doing charcuterie and wanted everything just to be really simple, basically finger foods kind of a situation. So the cherries were originally on top. There was a couple of cherries on top and it was powdered sugar. In this situation, I'm gonna put the cherries on the side so I can give you a little more detail once I cut it open as far as what the inside you should be expecting. Let me try to do my best. Oh nope, I'm already breaking the shell. Here we go. Okay. So your inside here, you're gonna have a very firm layer. And if you push down on this layer, you're not gonna get much movement or any movement, to be honest with you. Let's go ahead and give it a try. See if everything turned out correctly. Get a little cherry sauce. Now I will say if you don't have cherries, you can obviously use anything. If you want to use orange marmalade, which I had in the fridge, if you want to use cocktail cherries or something like that, that's fine as well. I just picked up canned cherry for like cherry pie mix. Easy enough. I do want to point out that all this has actually been really inexpensive. I think this entire recipe, when it's done for all 12 servings or all 12 portions, ends up being less than $1 a portion. In fact, I think I spent about, if I worked it out, it would have been about $10 for everything to make this recipe happen. So like I said, less than $1 a portion. So really inexpensive, and it's easy. It's 4 ingredients. So let's give it a taste. It definitely brings back memories, not only from obviously my wedding reception, but just as cheesecake in general. Cheesecakes are really savory food. It's very it's feel-good food, it's comfort food, and yeah, it's a really good cheesecake. The texture is very, very firm, which is what you want from a cheesecake. None of that pudding-based cheesecake. It's extremely fresh, of course. It's was just made a little while ago. There is no sugar granulation. The sugar, mixing it that couple of minutes, really caused the sugar to dissolve correctly. It's a good cheesecake. I'm not gonna lie, and this is, once you have it, it will bring you. We won't be able to do normal store-bought cheesecake ever again. So I'm gonna go ahead and enjoy the rest of this off camera, and I may enjoy another 1 or 2 while I'm at it, but hope you at home enjoyed this video, and look forward to making those other videos for the other recipes that y'all have asked for. So see y'all later. Bye.